Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, we are going to start a series of chemistry lecture for the BS students. So the first one is for organic chemistry students, and the course code is chemistry 161, and the semester is second. In this semester, we will cover the following course contents: the nature of the covalent bonding, the basic concepts of organic chemistry, organic reactions and mechanism, chemistry of the saturated hydrocarbons, chemistry of the unsaturated hydrocarbons, chemistry of aromatic hydrocarbons, chemistry of alcohol, phenol and ethers, chemistry of amines, chemistry of aldehydes and ketones, chemistry of carboxylic acid, and chemistry of carboxylic acid derivatives. So the first lecture is consists of two parts: nature of the covalent bonding, part 1, the first lecture, and the second one will be the nature of the covalent bonding, part 2. In this lecture, we will cover the following topics: atomic structure, atomic orbitals, shapes of atomic orbitals, and molecular orbitals. So this is a quick question. You can answer within 1 minute, and the time is start now. Okay. So as you give the answer, atom is indivisible particle, which is false. So now we will discuss about the atomic models. The first model was given by John Dalton, an English school teacher, based on the Democritus model, which explained that atom is derived from atomos, a Greek word which means indivisible. So after the discovery of the subatomic particles, especially electron and proton, the concept of the indivisibility diminished. And Thomson gives another model which is called Thomson model, which is also called plum pudding model. The third model, which is given by the Rutherford, and the Rutherford explained discovered the nucleus, and he explained that the nucleus consists of a positive charge, and electrons revolve around the nucleus like planets revolve around the sun. But later on, Bohr in 1913 made the Rutherford model defective, because he explained that if we consider the electron like planets, and because planets are neutral bodies, and if we consider it as electron, then electron will continuously lose energy and until it will drop into the atom and it will become unstable. So explain that electron revolve around the nucleus in a circular path, which he called orbits. The next model, which is based on the modern quantum mechanics and wave mechanics, and that is the Schrodinger's model. This is another question, and you can answer the question within 1 minute, and the time is start now. Okay, so they show that the modern atomic model, which based on quantum mechanics and wave mechanics. So the atomic theory and the molecular theory in the modern world based on the three important scientists' work, that is the Erwin Schrödinger, the Werner Heisenberg, and the Paul Dirac. The Schrödinger wave equation, which is also called the wave mechanics, which is called by Heisenberg as a quantum mechanics. So this one equation, which is called the three-dimensional time-independent three-dimensional Schrödinger wave equation, where the x, y, z explain the Cartesian coordinates, the size, the wave function, m is the mass of the electron, h is the Planck constant, E is the total energy, V is the potential energy, and solving this Schrödinger wave equation, we can derive the three important number, which is called the quantum number, and quantum number are the numbers which completely explain an electron in the various orbitals of an atom. So this is a table which explain the different values of the quantum number. So this is the n, which is the principal quantum number, and the principal quantum number explain the size and energy. The L is the azimuthal quantum number, which is also called secondary quantum number, and also the angular momentum quantum number, and this explains the shape of the orbital. The M is the magnetic quantum number, which is also called the orientation quantum number, because it explains the orientation of the various orbitals. For example, if we have the n value is equal to 1, the L is equal to 0, and the M is equal to 0, then we have this kind of label 1, 0, 0, and the wave function will be like this, and the orbital is 1s. Similarly, for this, n is equal to 2, L is equal to 0, and M is equal to 0, 0, we have 2s. For L is equal to 1, we have p orbital. So if the value of L is equal to plus 1 or minus 1, then we will consider as either 2px or 2py. But if the value of L is equal to the M is equal to 0, then will be considered as 2pz. This is another question. If the value of L is 3, what are the permitted values for the M? And the time is start now. Okay. Shapes of atomic orbitals. So the shapes of atomic orbital depend upon the psi of the wave function, and the physical interpretation of the wave function can be uh, explained on the basis of the probability density, because we know that atomic orbital is the region around the nucleus where the probability of finding electron is maximum. So the probability density is always equal to the probability divided by the volume, and it depends upon the value of r, theta, and phi. The total wave function is always equal to the radial wave function and the angular wave function. And the values of the radial wave function and the angular wave function are tabulated here. So as you see that this is the r for the radial wave function, n is the principal quantum number, and L is the azimuthal quantum number. It means that the value of the radial wave function depend upon the principal quantum number and azimuthal quantum number, while this y is the angular wave function, and which depend upon the value of the azimuthal quantum number and magnetic quantum number. As you see that for one s orbital where the L value is equal to 0, 2s orbital and 3s orbital, we have different kind of radial wave function values. But in this case, the angular wave function is same for all three 1s, 2s and 3s orbital. It means that the s orbital is spherically symmetrical and it is independent of the angular wave function. Here the a naught is the Bohr radius, which is equal to 52.9 picometer, and z is the atomic number, which is 1 for hydrogen. If we consider 1s hydrogen in the ground state, then we can get the value in this form. And this show that the s orbital is spherically symmetrical. It means that it is depend upon the radial wave function and independent of the angular wave function theta and phi. So on the basis of the radial and angular wave function, we can explain the shapes of the atomic orbital. For example, in the first 1s orbital, as you see that the wave function here is maximum, and as we go away from the nucleus, the wave function diminishes and it is equal reach to 0. So if you see that this is the nucleus and here is the probability, the maximum probability. But if we, as we go away from the nucleus, the probability diminish and the finding of electron in this region is minimum. So the radial distribution wave function can also be explained in this manner, and this is the value which is the most probable distance from the nucleus, and that is a naught, which is the Bohr radius for the ground state, and that is equal to 52.9 picometer. Similarly, we can explain the 2s orbital. So this is the wave function for the 2s orbital. Here it is maximum in the positive value, it becomes 0, then negative, and then become 0. And the radial distribution probability is given in this form. So this is the most probable distance from the nucleus, which is equal to 6 a naught. The 3s orbital can be explained in this way, that the wave function initially at the maximum, then 0, then negative, then 0, and then positive, and then 0. And this is the radial distribution probability, which show that the maximum, the most probable distance is equal to 11.05 a naught. The radial node can be explained on the basis of this equation, n minus L minus 1. N is the principal quantum number, L is the azimuthal quantum number. For the 1s orbital, we have 0 node, as you see here. For the 2s orbital, we have 1 node, and this 1 node is here at the distance of 2a naught from the nucleus. For the 3s orbital, we have 2 nodes, one at 1.9 a naught from the nucleus, and the other one is at 7.1 angstrom a naught from the nucleus. This is another question, and you can give the answer, and the time is start now. Okay, so there is no correct answer for this question. As you see the 3p orbital, so you know that we have uh, n minus L minus 1. So 3 minus 1 minus 1, 3 minus 1 minus 1, which is equal to 1. So the correct answer is 1. Okay, the p orbital shapes is given here, and you see that there are two lobes of the p orbital oriented away from the nucleus, and there is a plane which passes from the nucleus, which is called the nodal plane, where the probability of finding electron is 0. This is the p orbital 2px, 2py, and 2pz, and this show a dumbbell shape like structure. The d orbital, so these are the shapes for the d orbitals, and we can split these two into two different categories. The first one is the non-axial d orbital, which is always lies in the planes, and that is the dxy, dyz, and dzx. And the second two are considered as axial d orbitals, and that are x square, y square, and dz square. Okay, now we want to discuss about the electronic configuration. So electronic configuration means the distribution of electron in the various orbitals according to certain rules, and these rules are Abbo principle, Pauli exclusion principle, and Hund's rules. So Abbo principle, Abbo is a German expression which means building up, and this based on this equation, which is energy is equal to n plus L. N is the principal quantum number and L is the azimuthal quantum number. For 1s orbital, we have only one value of energy, 2, 3, 3, 4, and so on. So as you see there, there is increase in the energy. So the electron will first goes to the 1s orbital, then 2s, 2p, 3s, and so on. Hund's rules, which is also called the rules of maximum multiplicity, which mean that if we have available degenerate states, degenerate mean of same energy. If we have available degenerate state and we have electron, then electron will be distributed in all degenerate states in a manner that all the degenerate states should be completely occupied first with a single electron. For example, for the nitrogen, we have 3p orbitals, 3p electrons, and all of the degenerate states are filled. So this is according to the Hund's rule, and which means correct. This kind of arrangement is not correct because we have one vacant degenerate state and we have two degenerate states which are occupied with 3 electrons. Similarly, for the 4p electron of the oxygen, all of the 3 degenerate states are first occupied and the fourth one is then accommodated here. So this is according to Hund's rules. But in this case, this is not correct because one of the degenerate state remain unoccupied and 2 of the degenerate state occupied with 4 electrons. The third principle which should be followed for the electronic configuration is called Pauli exclusion principle. And Pauli exclusion principle states that no two electrons have the same set of 4 quantum numbers. It means if per one electron, the 3 quantum numbers are same, the 3 quantum number are same, then for the other electron it will be the 4 quantum number are same, then for other electron it should be different. For example, if we have these two s electron, so for the n, the value of the n is equal to 2 for the both two s electron. The L is equal to 0, the M is equal to 0, but the value of the ms in this situation, it is plus half or minus half. It means that either it is arranged in clockwise or anti-clockwise. So in this case, it is a parallel spin. So it is not according to the Pauli exclusion principle. While in this case, you see that one of the electron is arranged in clockwise direction, and the other one electron is arranged in anti-clockwise direction. It means that this arrangement, this distribution is according to the Pauli exclusion principle. Is there another question? And you can answer the answer within 1 minute, and the time is start now. Okay, so this is the correct answer, and you see there that we have 4s2 and 3d9, which is incorrect. 4s2 3d10, which is not for the copper, and 4s1 3d10. So this can be explained on the basis of half filled and completely filled orbital. So in this situation here, the d orbital is partially filled, which is unstable, while in this situation the d orbital is completely stable, and it becomes stabilized by promoting one of the s electron to the d orbital. Okay, molecular orbitals. So molecular orbitals always the combination of more than one atomic orbital, or we can say more than one nuclei, and is also the region in the three-dimensional space where the probability of finding electrons are maximum. So atomic or molecular orbital always accommodate two spin paired electron according to the Pauli exclusion principle, which we already discussed, and the number of atomic orbitals are always equal to the number of molecular orbitals. So atomic orbital, when combined through linear combination of atomic orbitals, it will gives us bonding molecular orbital and anti-bonding molecular orbital. How bonding and anti-bonding molecular orbital can be formed? So for example, if we want to form a molecular orbital from 1s orbital, then it will always take place with overlapping with the same phase sign. It means the constructive interference. So in constructive interference, the amplitude become more. This is an equation in which the bonding molecular orbital is produced by the combination of the atomic orbital A and B. So the probability is given as psi square A plus psi square B plus 2 psi A psi B. These are the two 1s orbital of the hydrogen, and the wave function is given as psi 1s and psi 1s. So now in this situation, the two orbitals combine through constructive interference, and the electron density is around the bond internucleus bond axis, and that bond axis is the bond length, the line joining the nuclei of the two bonded atoms. In terms of wave function, this is the wave function for 1s, this is another wave function, and when we combine these two wave functions constructively, then the amplitude becomes more. Antibonding molecular orbitals are produced by the overlapping with the opposite phase signs, mean destructive interference. So in destructive interference, the amplitude becomes less. This is the equation: antibonding molecular orbital psi A minus psi B, and the probability psi square A is equal to psi square A plus psi square B minus 2 psi A psi B. And this is the psi 1s orbital, psi 1s another orbital, and when we combine these two destructively, as you see that this is the wave function with positive sign, this is the wave function with negative sign, and when we combine them, when we overlap these two, we will get a region where the probability of finding electron is 0, and that region is called node. So this is all about the first lecture of organic chemistry, and I hope you will enjoy a lot, and we will then talk the second part in the next lecture, inshallah. Thank you.